Hello everybody, it's Friday night and it is Weekender time once more. We've another massive show ahead of you and we're only a few sleeps away from Christmas when everybody gets their toys. But before we get into the show, we've a chance for one lucky subscriber here on YouTube to get some toys of their own from us at store.ontabletop.com. If you want to be in with a chance to win a Necron Codex and Combat Patrol, then you need to be a subscriber to the channel, pop a Merry Christmas below, and if you can do all the social media sherry aroundy stuff as well, that'll be awesome. It costs you nothing. Go ahead. Otherwise, sit back and relax, because your Christmas weekend starts here. Hello everybody and welcome to the Weekender. We're all getting geared up for Santa's visit.
Yay!
That's a frightening yay. When he lands on Ben's roof, Ben's just going to push him off it.
Yes, I do like.
Generally his nature these days.
Yay, it's Santa. Oh, nope, I'm out of here.
But if it's like the Santa Claus, then that means that I get to be Santa, which would be pretty amazing.
Or Timon.
If you murder Santa, you get to be Santa.
Yeah, that's the Santa Claus. Yeah, so yeah.
It's how it's passed
Christmas
down.
movie. Sorry, there we go.
I hear the pension package is crap, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you just get sent off to a shopping centre somewhere. Just live out your days with incontinent children weighing on your lap.
Dear. Yeah.
Does Santa have to eat mince pies? Because I hate mince pies.
I like.
I think legally, yeah.
No, I
Legally, you
couldn't
have
be
to
Santa
eat
Claus.
whatever's been left out for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, only a couple of sleeps left before we all get to open our presents and go,
Very true.
socks again, more socks. But,
That's not true. I plan to open presents on the Weekender's XLBS. For sure. Yeah.
that's cheating.
Christmas comes early.
I'm
Yeah.
going to treat myself early, yeah.
To be fair, is come Sunday on the XLBS, it will be the 24th, which is when all of Europe and the British royal family, because they're Germans, open their presents. No.
That's true. My wife's
not
Polish.
cheating then.
It's like Christmas Eve is the big day, not Christmas Day. Apparently, we should be eating fish and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, I ain't eating fish for no Christmas dinner. That ain't happening.
No way, Jose. Yeah.
Oh, what if you stuffed a turkey with a fish? It's best of both worlds.
You
Turk
could wrap
fiction.
it.
Would you? Would you want to do that?
No, I would not want to do that. No.
You replace the bacon with slices of kipper, maybe over the top of the turkey.
Oh.
It's a frightening thought.
Oh my
like,
God. Pigs in blankets, sleeping with the fishes. There we go.
It's the
Ah!
mafia Christmas.
Yeah.
Just use little sardines and
Yes.
in place of. Oh man, that's a whole awful Christmas.
Yeah.
That's just the worst one I can imagine. Anyway, to anybody who eats fish over Christmas, you're just the worst. Absolute worst. Anyway, so we're gearing up for our last weekend of the year. I know you're shocked. What we're going to do? Roll about full of pudding for the next week.
That's about right.
I like your Christmas T-shirt, by the way, John. Looks amazing.
Every day's a Christmas day with a tiger.
Yeah.
I have a Christmas chair, but you can't see it because I'm too fat. Look, Christmas chair.
Don't worry, I'll be more festive later.
That's the way to do it.
You're really in the mood for Christmas. Give me a tank. There we go. Christmas is sorted.
Needs a run up at it.
Yeah.
Which is the best way. We do have stuff for you, even though we won't be here next week because we're that generous. So if you've been following along at home over the past year, myself and Shay have been fighting back and forth in Stalingrad. And as things come to a head in the delightful winter of the East, we'll be playing our final couple of games for Stalingrad Undaunted. See who wins that campaign. No spoilers. So I'm not going to say anymore because otherwise I'll spoil it. There's only a choice of two. So we've got the last 2 games for that, and we also have a ramp up for our community awards then as well. Yeah. So for people unaware who didn't pay attention to last year, or maybe weren't with us last year, which is terrible, absolutely shocking. Our community awards is a look back over what people have been up to over the last 12 months. Obviously, that number will change. There'll be a lovely 3 there. But if you want to see what it's all about, you can have a look through last year's as well, because there's some interesting bits and pieces. We've split it down by genre and category, and just as we feel like it, really, sometimes there's a sprinkling of, I think that works for here. And I really want to show people this. And that is our goal in life.
Very much so.
So, look forward to the 2023 Community Awards, which is the best way to roll into a new year. Just sitting there watching other people be more productive and successful than you.
It'll spur you on to greater things. In the new year.
Sure it will. That's 100%. That is exactly what's going to happen there. Yeah. It won't just make me miserable. No, sirree, Bob. And obviously, if you have some time as well over the Christmas period, when you're not up to much, you can get involved with our Dungeonalia.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're trying to sneak away from the family for just a little bit, maybe go into your little hobby cave, or perhaps a shed in the back garden, and sort of sit down with your hobby goodness and start tinkering away on terrain and all sorts of different things like that, painting up heroes and monsters to sort of join in with Dungeonalia, basically, and have some fun. We have prizes and everything. We talked about them at length last week, but if you want to find out more, you can go and dive in and check out the link in the description down below, because there are some boku amazing prizes in there from a range of different companies who have supported us across the various categories.
Very fancy stuff. So
there are absolutely a ton of them. That laser printer is pretty sweet too.
Oh yeah,
not printer. What is it?
Cutter. Laser cutters, models, color printed 3D things, huge masses of plastic and FTL goodness, everything you could ever want. There's even Hero Quest.
Oh yeah.
That is the list of prizes from top to bottom there, isn't it? It's like that starring such and such and such and such, and then you get like after 15 starrings and such and such as the angry barman. Anyway, so yes, plenty to keep you going over the rest of the festive period when we're not here, so you don't have to be too sad. So sad. All right, but we need to kick off the show proper with the most important part of the show. It is, of course, our Indie of the Week.
Ooh.
And it's funny you mentioned the laser cutter, Lloyd, because this is alongside the laser cutter. It's a little tangential in some respects, and I thought it was also very. I thought it was also very Dungeonalia-esque in that we're going to be taking a look at Shifting Lands. So. Shifting Lands is Jared Boom, I believe. And I haven't just picked him because his name's Jared. But it helps. He is part of a massive community of foam builders, essentially. Right. There is a USA website. I won't be looking at that. They're still propagating it. But this one runs out of the Netherlands. So that's the one I'll be looking at because it's more comprehensive. But essentially, you can break it down into tools and scenery.
Right.
And
big guns.
The big guns you can ignore. They're just there in case you attempt to leave without purchasing things, in which case they turn them on you. But the tools are an eclectic mix of things. I'll preface this with some of it requires a hot wire cutter. Okay. Some of it doesn't. Yeah. And some of the tools they have are specifically made for working with XPS foam. So things like the pillars, these are not the pillars that you're buying. What you're actually getting is a laser cut MDF jig that then allows you to use a hot wire cutter to create these absolutely spectacular looking set of pillars. Which are really pushing what people think you can do with a hot wire cutter. I can just about get a curve for a hill, generally. And then I started looking through some of the pieces in here, and it was like, well, this is just insane.
Yeah.
That'll work great when you actually build Rome. You can use that.
Yeah. Once you get Rome built for me, I will replace all of the MDF columns with more bespoke ones. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, keep hoping. Keep hoping.
I will. You 100%. I will. But there's a whole rake of different styles of obelisk and pillar. So you can have all your Corinth or Ionic to your heart's content. I love these obelisks. They're just cracking.
They're crying out to be included in some kind of culty style affair. Love those. Very nice.
Oh, it's one solid piece. It's not 4 bits glued together.
No. You put it in the jig, you cut aside, you rotate your block, you cut aside, and as you go round, you create the whole thing. But this jig has 4 different finishes, so you can, from that, create these different styles of obelisk.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
just fill your graveyard or city with, which is always nice. The other pillars are obviously variations on a theme, so it's just a case of finding pillars that you like, maybe for mounting massive candles.
I've seen folks use stuff like this specifically for in my interest kind of area of building like Balin's tomb and stuff. I know people did stuff with these kind of jigs and things to build really nice columns and all sorts of stuff that you'd find in the Dwaradelf and things. So these are something that a lot of folks play around with now, I think, in the terrain building sphere.
The online foam / model building crowd is absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of Lord of the Rings,
there we go.
You two can
the walls of Minas Tirith.
Get a jig to do the Merlins and the like across the walls.
Hey, it's their camel toe jig.
Yep. It's a great way of doing it, including
can't unsee
your 45 degree. Just move on with your life. It's the only way you can work.
What? It is, totally. Many camels died to bring you this castle.
Yes.
It's very festive. It's what the 3 wise men rode across the desert.
Yep. Sand, it gets everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. Again, pushing away from those jigs, we have templates for doing your shingling on your roofs.
Oh, could have used that this year.
You still could. You've got a new shed.
Yeah, but it'll not be this year.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. These are.
So you just cut the different layers and then glue it all down.
Yeah.
They create the roof. That's cool. Yeah.
These are was I looked at and went, oh, that's nice. And then I seen the XL jigs, which we'll have to have a look at in a moment, which are no use at all for us.
Right.
But they're made for people who do large scale dioramas, sort of 90 mil upwards, or even.
Okay. I was going to say for Hutch then.
Well, it's not even that, because shingles are flat. Shingles are easy to do. It's all good. Shingles in your area.
That's it. All the shingles laid down there. All the shingles laid down.
If I go to Tools XL and have a look at theirs.
Oh wow! Okay.
These are so big that they have curvature to them. So you're making it from a thick piece, and then you're individually cutting each shingle to have length and depth.
Blimey.
Yeah. So like I say, the smallest of these is too big for standard gamers, but for people doing any high quality modeling work for your
set building and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
like gingerbread houses,
dioramas and stuff, and foam covered gingerbread houses that people can't eat. That is a great way of doing it. Yeah, I mean, not to eat anything at your house ever. It seems very dangerous. Anyway, let's chunk those out my way. We also have the the hot wire cutter add-ons. I like these. Because the Proxon and Hercules and stuff like that are very popular.
Yeah.
And they do a whole rake of jigs for these, including, I've heard the gate on the Proxon's not particularly sturdy or square. So I think they do a replacement one here as well, which is great to see. But you can really do a ridiculous amount of stuff with them.
Get the heck out of here. You can do domes and all sorts of stuff.
Be all
this
you
makes me
can be.
really, really wish that XPS foam was easier to get your hands on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like gold over here.
It's
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, you can't get over here. My last one was shipped in by a friend in Germany.
Yeah.
Sent me a box of it just to stop me whining. I think
It
more
says
than anything
something
else.
that like Zorpazorp and Black Magic Craft actually have sections of their web stores where you can buy foam.
Yeah.
Well,
because it's so hard.
well, this is how I know Shifting Lands.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, he sent stuff across to Black Magic Craft, and then at one point he went and visited him. So that's how I came across him.
The stairway tools, like a lathe type thing.
Yeah,
a rudimentary lathe.
I watched Galaxy Quest last week, so I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Great movie.
Yeah,
a rudimentary lathe.
So you two can put together your spiral staircase in sections, and then trim it down to an actual circular spiral. And
then all you need to do is go at it with a ball of foil, and away you go. Really nice ruined dungeon sections and all sorts of different things. Very nice.
You just stick on some TV programs over Christmas. You put on the original trilogy, the Ridge Tridge, as the cool kids call it, and just sit there and cut to your heart's content.
Exactly.
Ignore everybody else around you.
What's original trilogy? You're talking about Star Wars?
There's only one Ridge Tridge, and it's not Star Wars.
And it's Fellowship.
No.
Two Towers. Return. No. Okay.
No. Not only no, but no. Anyway, so yes, a whole set of various MDF tools that can be used to upgrade your hot wire cutter if you have one of these styles.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's just absolutely cracking. I keep looking at Proxon wire cutters every now and again on Amazon and then going, I've got nowhere to put it. But I want it.
You'll find a place to put it.
Yeah.
You got to be cutting a serious amount of foam, though. Like, if you buy the jig and the jig's like 35 quid and you use it once.
Yeah.
So these people buying this are building absolute tons of foam stuff.
Oh, yeah. 100%. But, they are specific tools for specific issues that you'll run into when you're looking to make things.
Yeah.
So if you are going to go that way, but I much prefer styrene and balsa over 3D prints.
Right.
You know, if I can sit there and make something, I will, which is why I keep looking at these. Or even if you just want to do your own hex board, you get yourself a hex jig and then cut the hex tiles out that you need to.
Make really nice modular stuff for like some BattleTech and things like that.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Which is a great way of doing it.
Go on, John. Join in.
The click and cut template series. And I mean, some of these obviously don't need a full bench hot wire cutter. You can do it just with, a handheld wooden sealing ones. But these are templates or jigs that you assemble and then collapse again afterwards. Right. So you don't have to worry about storing the actual jig.
That's cool.
Fully built all the time, allowing you to make such delightful aquatic pools as these.
Take a dip. Oh, I like that larger fountain section. That's very nicely done. Yeah. I broke my handheld wire cutter last time I used it. I was tugging too hard.
Snapped the wire.
And it snapped. Yeah. Got to be careful with that kind of thing. So
again, it's when you see things like this, you're just going, well, this is just insane. And I imagine once that's been primed and painted, a lot of times you're not going to look at it and initially go, oh, that's obviously been made from a sheet of 25 mil thick styrofoam,
Yeah, especially when there's bits of texture paint and all sorts of things on it as well, just to give it that edge. Yeah. Even then, just spraying it seems to come out quite nicely on those.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't pull your wire back into shape. It was completely snapped.
No, it was snapped. Got a replacement.
Yeah, you should always
that's
keep
good.
replacements.
Yeah.
As long as you've got a wire that works, happy days.
Yeah.
Always happy to see it.
What's this thing he's standing on? Structure rollers. What's this?
Well, I'm about to go there now.
Hey!
So I did a jerry
like I'm a mind reader. I'm like the new Uri Geller of foam.
Where I used Green Stuff World to do rollers for putty, that sort of thing. And I used those on XPS foam and it was okay. But these are specifically made for going on foam. And as such, they have much greater indents on them.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
the ones made for making out of clay or putty or whatever have relatively shallow.
Because it's going over a softer material.
It's going over softer material, whereas foam will attempt to push back. There's a certain amount of elasticity to it whenever you're finished. But these allow you, as you can see, to do standard flagstones or some sort of crazy paving.
Again, perfect for Dungeonalia.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
What's the shipping on like this? Because I get the impression you could maybe go down Summers and get something similar and try using that.
I've not been through for the shipping. I'm going to ignore everything else that you said in that sentence.
It's possible it might work. Someone's raiding a drawer right now saying, "Holy crap, I never thought of that."
Well, you do you, son. You do you.
Ribbed for your foam's pleasure.
But as you
There
can
you
see,
go.
there's also larger scale. So depending on whether you're doing sort of 28mm or big feature pieces, but even something like that would still work for.
The thing that's quite nice about that
large
as well
models.
is that the obvious idea is to use that to do flagstone dungeon tiles, but you could do that as kind of like a lattice of kind of like cyberpunky style glowing floor. So you can do some really nice stuff in the indents there to create like a glow effect to it.
Go
And make it so
Filtron.
it's like the interior of like a server farm or something like that. I think it'd be really cool.
Do they do the laser cut stuff, or where have they got that from? That fitted the foam roller? Just make it bigger and cut it to fit.
I think they just cut it to fit in that particular case. But as you can
That's
see,
your thing. There is the durability of your foam. If you're not going to be sticking it down on the tables and things. Well, even if you stick it on the tables, but I quite like the fact that they put it in a little frame to keep it safe.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff they use, which I think is Styrodor, is fairly rock solid in the grand scheme of foams, much more than even XPS is.
Styrodor? Never heard of that.
It's a brand name.
Mm-hmm.
These, I think, are
It's like a troubadour but
absolutely-
lighter.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely delightful. As you can see, there is not one
Oh, let's see that cobble one right in
a
the middle
whole
there.
myriad.
No,
Which
not that
cobble?
one.
The Alhambra one's
Down
nice.
to
Oh, the
There you
actual, just the dull cobble one,
yeah.
not one of the nice ones.
No, I just want to see because everyone's always on like the Bolt Action forum asking how do you make forum or cobbles and
bases.
stuff. Here you go,
There you
peeps.
go.
Look at that. Can I roll anything else with this? Can
Roll
I do like
whatever you want
green
with it.
stuff or
Yeah,
clay or whatever?
you're going to have to clean it afterwards, which is a delight. Speaking from experience, even trying to get sculpey out of the things is a pain in the backside. Toothbrush and soapy water on standby.
Electric toothbrush.
No, just regular toothbrush. Just put some elbow grease into it.
Ain't nobody got time for that. What?
But these, I mean, just the sheer
That's
range
nice.
they do.
Yeah.
And this is the whole part and parcel of the thing is because they're all about working with foam to a frightening extent. So they're all cracking.
Yeah.
I will say the window templates caught me by surprise somewhat because I was going, what do you mean a window template? And then if I open this, you can see it's not just that, it's the whole surround,
Wow.
weird little brickwork and everything else.
That's really sweet.
It's amazing what you can do with foam. Foam and a bit of energy.
Yeah.
Wire it up and away you go.
I bet it would just be so pleasing to use it as well when the jig's just working smoothly through it and then you pop out the thing at the end. Oh, yeah.
So
Lovely jobbly.
So that's the sort of the tool side of things, a whole variety of jigs and the like. But there's also the scenery side.
It's everything basically 28 mil up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because after you go down below 28 mil, you're going to struggle a little bit with the foam side of things, aren't you?
Well, it depends what you're looking to do. You're not going to get the same level of detail. But if you think about the size of some columns and stuff on actual buildings, they'd still work. Some of this 28 mil stuff would still work very well for 15s and 10s as being that big, grand scale, epic work.
Doing
when
the
you get
Colosseum
smaller
and
than that.
15 mil, for
Oh,
example.
yeah. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Wow.
This is interesting.
Wow.
And this is interesting because that entire ship is foam, bar these additional pieces that have gone on. And this is what the kit is. Here's the additional pieces to make this look like this. If you want to do an airship.
Crikey.
Why not?
I mean, somebody spent a lot of time, I don't know, above Northrend, going around Stormwind.
Yeah.
This itself comes from Tabletop Witchcraft, and is you can get the templates for the foam cutting from there, and then they use the rest of it to jazz it up. But I just thought that was insane.
That's very impressive.
I'm a big fan of insane. But beyond that, we have things like your various dungeon doors and building doors, trap doors, carved doors, even a sci-fi door set, although not as nice as the lovely
that's a
wooden
lovely
doors.
Roman door.
Yeah.
Look at the wood grain on that.
Yep. Look at that. Look at the bracketing. The iron wall cramps are quite nice. These are sort of staples to stop stonework shifting.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of them architecturally, from the cheapest chips to the I'm very expensive. My house is very expensive, and get away from my house, poor people's ones, which are nice. Again, just something to add detail and interest to a wall. They don't have to be just constant flat sections.
Oh, look at the arches thing that you look just down the bottom too.
Yeah, Gothic art.
Oh, God. Oh, I have to look at that. Go on. You know. Oh, yes.
Isolate that sound. Carry
it through. That's cool.
Yeah. Very, very good for building the ruined bits of like Frostgrave and things.
Yes. Oh, very much so. Apart from those, where are we? My power lines I like, although I've seen a set of power lines in Iceland, which actually look like giant statues. And I really want somebody to make those. They look like a reindeer carrying the power lines on its antlers and people carrying them in their hands and stuff.
Oh, they still made like that out of like metal framework?
Yeah, metal framework, but spectacular.
It's a good way of prettying it up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But even this is a little bit different, more interesting than your average bear. You can get a 3-pack. Boom, boom, boom. Across your table. Like, poor little icy fella down there, huddling for warmth. You're not going to get any warmth there, mate. You're going to die cold and alone at the bottom of that pylon.
Don't go and get your frisbee back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you know The Thing's a Christmas movie?
It's got snow in it, right? So
is this because we were all told officially that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, so we're all scrabbling for the next?
I thought we were all told officially it was a Christmas movie.
It
wasn't.
It is a Christmas movie. It's set Christmas.
We all consider it a Christmas movie.
Yeah, because it's Christmas.
But Bruce Willis said in public that it wasn't.
What does Bruce Willis know? Not very much.
Not these days. The stained glass is absolutely cracking. Comes in a variety of flavors as well. And can be delightfully backlit.
Lovely jubbly. Yeah.
And these are little touches that.
Well, there'll be plenty of people.
There'll
be plenty of people with a lot of the church kits from different companies.
Yeah.
That will have blank sections that you could then just use these to slot in, couldn't you? So.
Is it sort of transparent, or is it?
Yeah, it's a transparent acetate, so you can light it from behind.
Put some tea lights inside, and away you go.
Yeah, and there's
watch your phone building.
Yeah, it's not actual tea lights.
No, electric ones. Yes.
There's
I did have a board this morning. It had burned down by the afternoon. it's melted into a puddle.
It's a frightening thought in every respect. The roof trims are
like those.
Very cute, as are the fences, which
good places for a Volsung sniper to hide.
Yeah, and I mean, if anybody needs an ornate fence to go round their posh building, then there are some absolutely
keep the zombies at bay.
Well, yeah.
This miniature is very popular. They love this guy, this town crier.
Standard reference town crier.
He gets around. He's a good town crier. Makes sure and covers everything. Hear ye, look at this stuff I have for sale.
I'd hope he's in their social media. That would be good.
It would be nice. Very, very nice.
That's really cool. Yeah. Even getting the slightly pineapple design to the tops, which is calling back to the Victorian thing that they did so that they showed they had wealth and stuff, which I think is quite cool. Yeah.
You too can have a look at a piney apple.
Exactly.
And then the weird spiderweb windows. Just there so people can bask in the spiderwebby goodness.
Creepy.
Ugh. Spiders.
Like Ziggy and the spiders from Mars. And there's a few bits and pieces
6
of
pages
that.
of that. So,
Yeah. Won't go through them all, but I will go to books because he worked on this book with, I can't remember the other guy's name. It's Martin, but I can't remember his channel name. Ah, well, people will be able to find out. Anyway, a whole book on doing terrain crafting and building, which has got some spectacular stuff in here. Things like this. You
Step-by-step guides and stuff.
But within here, there were also sort of upgrade kits available. And the rest of the stuff on this this book page is essentially the kits that are mentioned in the books. So where they've used specific things for churches or timbered houses or whatever it is, then they're all in there, including the template set. So if that's something that you're keen on doing, then you can get right in there.
So you can absorb years and years of knowledge, all within a matter of hours, as my Christmas lights behind me fall down.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of the shoppy side of things.
Nice.
I want that all to go away.
Oh, there's more.
There is a selection of tutorials in here. There's not a huge amount, but there's a couple of little handy tips and tricks in there, making your own clump foliage and barbed wire. But the projects for people looking for inspiration for Dungeonalia, his projects are split between Styrodor, resin bits, and plaster bits. And if we have a look at, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, you probably want to have a look at something minus Heresy and maybe Helm's Deep. Okay, right, there you go. From initial concept sketches,
amazing,
all the way through to the actual build and paint job, step by step. There's some
very nice,
spectacular work in his projects that's well worth visiting just to see how it all comes together.
That's glorious.
And how he's worked on it.
Yeah.
And like I say, the level of detail that he puts in is just absolutely fantastic. So there is, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So probably 2 to 3 inches.
There's another one on top.
So maybe about 2 foot tall.
Wow.
Or thereabouts. There will be accurate.
About the height of a decent Christmas tree, then 2.5 feet tall.
Yeah, about that, and about as wide as one as well. tiny ball Christmas tree.
Yeah.
The thing I really like is Jared's not a gamer or miniature painter, but he just likes building bits and pieces of terrain
that are all incidentally about 28 mil.
They're all incidentally about 28 mil. There's Boomville, which is a whole series of Western style buildings. So
is it from lollipop sticks?
No, balsa, foam core, and styrene again. Mm-hmm. So if I find, where's an interior? Oh, okay. No, that's the lid.
Well, you can see a little bit of what they've done there.
There's the interior. So it's foam core, and then it's clad front and back with balsa to get your texturing on it.
To the next level.
Love working with balsa.
Yeah, and even things like the little toothpick jail bars. That is a great way of going.
Yeah.
So some fantastic bits and pieces in there. You'll even find in the shop there's I think they're called rakes. In fact, can I find the rakes? They should be in the tool section. He says, thinkingly, I want to say modeling tools. It is. There we go. Well done, me. It's like I know my way around this site.
Toothpick rake.
Yeah, that's for getting the lines and
so you build it up, and then you can use that to get accurate brickwork or whatever it happens to be. If you're doing wooden planks on a balsa paneling, you may find that.
Cool.
The only thing I would say is, I know they've used PVA to glue those in place. I would use hot glue because at some point they're going to snap, and I don't want to have to drill out a toothpick, whereas hot glue you can easily remove.
You could just replace them with metal ones.
You can, but I've seen the price of metal toothpicks.
Nails.
And I think they're about 11 euro for 2.
Nails.
Which means 2, 4, I'm ignoring them. 6, 8, 10, 12. So 6 packs. It'd be like £100 for a rake set, although it would be very durable. Or you could use nails.
Nails.
Anyway, so there we have it.
Nice.
That is Shifting Lands. Worth checking out for all your scratch building during Dungeonalia.
Yeah.
For people wanting to win their own laser cutter. And if you join some of the foam communities online, some people have even done some of those jigs and stuff that they've made as templates for you to cut out yourself with your own laser cutter.
I'm part of a foam community, but I stopped looking at it because it's so sickening.
It is
Foam party community.
It's so good. They're so good.
They're really, really good. A lot. Anyway, so there you have it. That's our indie.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the news.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
All right, we're back. It's time for some news. And Parabellum have gifted us pre-orders for Christmas.
They have done. Yeah. If you're diving into the game and you want to get yourself some awesome cavalry options, then there's going to be a whole bunch of those for you to pick up for both the city-states and the 100 Kingdoms as well. We'll start with the city-states side of things because you're going to be able to get yourselves the new Hipparchos leader figure there, as you can see. Very nice new character for you to drop into the mix. Great cavalry commander, looking particularly fabulous. The horse, the kind of rampant horse design on this, I think is really cool and sort of echoes a lot of statues and things that you would have seen. I think it's quite nice. Sort of getting
he's gone full
vibe.
Yeah, he's gone full Alexander the Great on Bucephalus.
Very much
right off the bat.
Yeah,
he's also filth in game.
Yeah, that tends to be the case with I think a lot of the new stuff that comes out for Conquest. You look at it and you go, "Oh my god, this guy's filth."
Yeah. Oh, especially if it says city states anywhere on the box.
Yeah, it's almost like they've got a bias.
He's so filthy. He can't be your warlord. And also, if you include him in your list, you're limited to only having 3 regiments of cavalry in his warband.
Yeah.
It's going, well, okay. So you can't do a full cavalry wing just coming charging like Gargamella on the flank.
Yeah. He's even got that really awesome helmet design, as you can see in the close-up in the top right. I just love that. Really nice little touch there. The lion. Very nice. Talking of cavalry, he comes in alongside the companion cavalry, which again is going to be a nice callback for people who've enjoyed their history, but a really nice little set of dynamic cavalry options there. As you were saying, Jerry, great option for him to be sort of leading some of these on the flanks or something, harassing enemy units. And as they sort of push up the field, maybe drop these in sort of the mid-late game or something like that and do a little bit of cleanup with their lances at the ready, their spears at the ready. Very nice.
Well, you throw him in to lead a unit of those, and then you give him the they've an upgrade. It's like upgraded armor, which knocks their defense down by 1, but gives them 3 more inches of movement. And all of a sudden, they're an 11-inch march. Their charge is through the roof. You just have 1 unit of them going hammering up the board. Nice. Then the rest of your army can just chuckle as they come in behind and mop up whatever's left. You just fire like a Scud missile. I like the Shabrack there. Shame there's a saddle over the top. But you can't
I was going to say, I quite like the way that each of the horses got a different style to them. So you've either got the armor or the, as you call it, was it Shabrack?
Shabrack, yeah. If it didn't have a saddle, the Greeks used to ride just on animal skins.
Right, okay.
Because they
very nice.
Didn't have the saddles and didn't have stirrups.
I like how the horse manes have been cut to represent the helmet plumage
the
as
crest,
well.
yeah.
The crests, yeah. I think it's a really nice little touch as well.
To be fair,
Cool.
they probably needed the horsehair for their own crest.
Yes.
You want it, go and clip it yourself, son.
Yeah.
What was the shibrak for then? Was it just to keep sweat off you?
It was to give you something to sit on, to hang on to, because the Greeks didn't have saddles and didn't have stirrups and like the
barebacks.
So rather than just be on bareback like some sort of savage, you put on a nice animal skin.
I want some separation between me and beast.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Talking of cavalry, there's even more options for the 100 Kingdoms. They get another one of their sort of knightly orders almost. So this is the Order of the Sealed Temple. So these are another sort of hard-hitting option for you to drop into your games. Again, really nice design on these. I love the way that they've been looking at all the different variants of these knightly orders and doing something really different and original with the design of them. In this one, I love that kind of tower sort of motif that's carried through all of their armor, sort of building it up into the tall shields and the tall helmets as well. I think it's a really nice little touch. Should be a really nice option for those people who want something slightly more agile, I guess, for their 100 Kingdoms armies.
This is agile.
Oh,
apparently, yes.
They have fluid formation, which means they count their front arc as full 360, and they get a free reform at either the very start of their activation or at the end. So they can theoretically see behind them, pivot for free, and then charge into somebody. Or
compared to the heavy cavalry of the other stuff.
Or they can charge into something, completely destroy it, and then reform for free.
Very, very cool.
So they're good coming back. They are nimble as bedamned.
Yeah.
They are going to really annoy a lot of people as well.
I love that their weapons are just oversized blades.
Oh yeah,
long sword blades. Yeah,
yeah.
It's
just like running people through.
It's
so
like
cool.
the guy Mad Mardigan kills in Willow. He's got that gauntlet that's just got a massive sword blade instead of a punch dagger. It's like that.
I'd love to see dismounted versions of maybe some of these. I think that could be really nice, especially if you were going to do an alternative set that could be used for First Blood. So you could have on-foot versions of these knights to fight in your skirmish games. I think it could be quite nice.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. But yeah, very nice stuff there too. And also to celebrate an anniversary for Conquest.
Yeah.
There's a new Artisan series miniature that's been designed as well. So this one's much like the rest of the Artisan series, designed as a slightly more bespoke, unique looking version of an existing model within the range. And this one was the Abomination, which is, one of the most iconic elements of Conquest that people will remember from the first iteration of the game.
Yeah.
This is
lovely. Absolutely amazing.
Fifth anniversary gift is generally wood. Insert joke here.
But you would buy this.
There we go. It's a creepy looking thing.
Yeah. Really going for that kind of slightly weirdly alien sci-fi vibe to it, which I think is really nice.
When aliens meet insects, you get this.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. And I could see a lot of people picking this up to perhaps replace one of their abominations in their army, especially if they're a big Spires fan. I think, especially with the Spires, the design of them has come on a really long way since the game first came out, and this very much more echoes the artwork that we first saw. I think that concept designing things that we got when the game first came out, and it's just really nice to see something like this popping up. I mean, we've had a billion Jotnar at this point, so it's good to see something. That's
true,
on the other side of things.
Yeah. And it's got at least 17 holes.
Yes.
And
all of them are a goal.
Yeah. I don't think that is any way, shape, or form how I ever want to be picturing any Spire thing. Never mind an abomination, but thanks for that.
I counted them while you were talking. I counted them just to double check. At least 17 holes, because I couldn't see what exactly was on the back. Could be more.
Well, you never know.
I guess.
Surprise.
I guess we'll never. Yeah. If anybody buys one, they can let us know. Just send that directly to Lloyd's inbox.
With just the subject line, there are 32 holes.
Yeah. Frostgrave then.
Yes. So moving on from one fantasy world to another, Joseph McCullough has been working hard on a whole host of new books that are going to be coming up for both Frostgrave and Stargrave in 2024. There's 2 books that he could talk about on his blog. I'm sure there are even more in the works because Frostgrave just keeps on going, man. The first of these is Mortal Enemies. So this is a new book that has been designed for you to create villains for you to use in your cooperative and solo campaigns. So if you're somebody who tends to play the game with a friend or you just play the game by yourself, this allows you to build a cool kind of like Hollywood style villain that keeps coming back all the time and has a band of sort of miscreants and goons that will always be there to harass you as you're taking on your different missions. So I think that's going to be really nice for sort of taking things in different directions when it comes to the stories and stuff that you tell. They've also put in a nice selection of new stuff for building your headquarters in different ways, because previous to this, the headquarters was just a nice place for you to sort of build up and get extra resources and that kind of thing. This will make it a kind of den that you'll have to protect because your mortal enemy will come and try and hunt you down and send his goons to try and take you out. So it'll give you a nice little sort of alternative set of scenarios for you to play out, which I think will be really fun. So yeah, a nice little book there for people sort of diving into that.
I like the idea of having a nemesis.
Yes, a proper nemesis.
Proper nemesis.
However you kill him or push him off things, set him on fire, drown him in a sewer or something, he will always come back and with greater numbers.
A mixture of Rasputin and Moriarty.
Yes.
that artwork's kind of cool. That's a diorama I'd like to see. Someone literally put a miniature inside an egg timer.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. Yeah. Very cool.
In which case that just becomes some sort of giant. Use a Jotner.
Forget him. Just have the dude in the hourglass. That would be enough.
Yeah. Oh, in that case, hip Poundland now. They've got hourglasses going dirt cheap in the tat section for Christmas.
Yeah. And also a nice thing as well. Rue Moore is back to do more artwork, which is really cool. Did a lot of the art on the original Frostgrave. And so that's nice to see that they're back in the mix as well, doing more stuff for these supplements. Moving from fantasy to sci-fi, there's also a little bit of an update as well as it sort of being a new supplement. So a lot of people who've dived into Stargrave when it first came out will remember that there was a kind of solo thing that you could pick up called Dead or Alive, which was a way for you to play out solo style games of Stargrave on the tabletop. Well, this has been fleshed out by McCullough to be a full book now, so it'll come with extra bits and pieces in there as well. So this will allow you to play the game solo, or you could do it cooperatively as well if you wanted to, but of course there are rules for that and that kind of stuff in Stargrave already. But this will give you loads of fun bounty hunting scenarios to do. So there's going to be a big list of villains for you to hunt down, as well as one of your favorites, Jerry, lots of random tables to roll on, which is always nice. And that means you're going to have loads of random scenario generation. There's going to be complications and modifiers that you can throw into the mix as well, alongside weapons and all sorts of different things there too, which will be really fun to dive into and have some fun with. So yeah, some really nice stuff coming up for both of the Grave games at the moment. And there's even more coming out from McCullough in the new year as well. So make sure to check out the website because there's some stuff that we talked about for Rangers of Shadow Deep and all sorts of things.
A Gathering of Heroes is coming.
Gathering of Heroes, a new book alongside the folks from Modiphius, which would be very cool.
In Marchy time as well, He's pushing hard against Dan Abnett's goal to write everything in the world ever.
Yes.
Including the phone book. And it's just going to be which one hits that pinnacle first. No longer do we have polyglots and people who have read every book published in their lifetime. We now have Dan and Joe attempting to write every book in their lifetime.
Everything that ever exists.
So, it's good. It's good times. Yeah. Right. It wouldn't be Christmas without, would it?
No, it would not be Christmas without A Great Escape. So this is a new set that is coming out of Grognard Games for 0-200 hours. Called Escape from Stalag Luft 3. I think you can probably see the parallels here. So this is a new scenario set for you to dive into alongside the game, which, as we know, if you've looked at 0-200 hours before, is all about doing sort of like secret behind the scenes, behind enemy lines stuff, where you take out German sentries and sort of bomb things and all that kind of things. Well, this sort of twists things where, in fact, you're going to be trying to escape from your POW camp with your daring heroes of Do. The set itself comes with a selection of 5 new missions and different play modes where you'll go through the stages of setting up your escape and then planning the escape and getting over the fence and all that kind of stuff. But then beyond that, once you've got rid of your uniforms or you've modified them enough, you'll also be able to play out the escaping as civilians through like occupied Paris and all sorts of different things in the streets, which I think would be really, really fun. Obviously comes with a whole host of new miniatures in there. There's also rules for motorbikes. So if you wanted to do a little bit of tweaking, you could maybe have your daring hero on the back of one perhaps as well. So it'd be quite nice. But for anyone who loves watching this movie over the festive period, maybe this could be a fun thing to move into with the next year. Sort of pick up the set in January, start having some fun and planning some interesting campaigns and stuff like that. I think this is a really nice little set with some fun miniatures that sort of hits that nice festive note. Yeah,
they're terrific. Even if you're planning on doing
nice.
something like Great Escapes, the Chicago Way. You're planning on doing something mobstery and you need objectives
they would
to
be very
chase
good
down the table. They're good as well because finding just pure civilians is a tricky thing at the best of time.
Yeah, but I think it's a really cool idea. It kind of makes sense with the mechanics of 0 to 100 hours, and as I say, just one of those nice sort of divergence, take you off in different directions. All of the characters can obviously be used in different scenarios as well. So if you're not going to be using them particularly for these ones, you could fold them into something else. Maybe if you're doing a scenario based around the resistance or something, these could be really nice for that. Use it as a scenario where the resistance have got to try and find those poor airmen and get them somewhere safe before things go badly. That could be quite cool.
Is this a standalone thing, or do you need other 0 to 2 hours?
You'll need the core set. Alongside this. So yeah, you'll have to pick that up. But the actual core set is pretty darn good value for money anyway. So
yeah, and if you already have World War II figures, you can just pick up the rules and dice and cards separately. You don't need to get the whole kit and caboodle if you've already got loads of stuff kicking around. It's a fun way of doing it. I'm interested to see exactly how it pans out because I've been toying with my own escape from Stalag Luft for a while. I was planning on using Mantic's The Walking Dead.
Right.
And so, the whole idea would be you're doing the collection sort of bit, but the zombie would replace with German guards and maybe spotlights and stuff. So you're running around trying to avoid detection rather than actually fighting your way out. Because if you're fighting your way out, it's all terrible. Anyway.
There's some quite interesting things in the mechanics for that as well, because your escapees, your airmen don't start with weapons. So they'll have to do a proper judo chop on someone's back or something to knock them out and then steal their gun or something, which I think will be quite fun. So yeah, you'll have to make sure that you knock out the right people in the right places and hide them in particular spots.
It's the way to do it.
Don't do it in the middle of the street where everyone can see.
Makes things more interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We all think so. Yeah. Right, Ben. Thank you.
What?
No, absolutely no people here understand quality. It's how they catch one of them in the
Oh, yes,
escape.
Of course. Yes. Oh, yes. There we go. Yeah. I get it now.
Shocking. Absolutely. For Christmas, for homework, you all have to go and rewatch
I have to go watch it again. Yeah.
Right. I ain't watching it again. Is this the bit where he says thank you and the guy doesn't say it right back to him?
No, he says thank you in English and the guy responds.
Oh, thank you. Or
It's a rookie mistake now. And he spends the entire film in the lead up going, watch out for this, and then on the train he gets caught himself. Yeah. And poor Duchy dies. Anyway.
And that was all set up so nicely for me, and I missed it. Oh, never mind.
Right.
Oh well.
Is this before or after Rocky beat people up?
You're thinking of Escape to Victory, the worst escape / film ever made. Oh my god! They go back in to win the. Oh no!
Yeah, before the football match.
Grognards.
I figured that's before the football match is before they go on the train, isn't it?
I hate you so
anyway,
much.
To save Jerry.
There is no saving me.
The folks from Wargames Atlantic have now released their new set of Le Grognard Cavalry for you to drop into your games. Up until this point, we've had the infantry and we've had the command and the heavy support set.
Yeah.
But this was one of the sets that they'd sort of tinkered with bringing to life beyond their Atlantic digital collection. And of course, they've been working on the plastic horses and all sorts of different things to be used across a variety of their different sets. And this is another use for them alongside these sci-fi riders.
This has arrived.
It has arrived.
It arrives on the 29th of December.
Yeah. But this is a set that allows you to build the cavalry contingent of your army. You can either have the horses plain, so without any of the armor and stuff like that, or you can have them with the comparisons and the horse armor and the helmets and all sorts of different things on them if you want to give them slightly more of a heavier bent, as it were. You can also arm the riders with different weapons, so you can give them lances, swords, or pistols. But as is the case with a lot of the stuff from Wargames Atlantic, all of this stuff can be sort of mixed and matched. So if you have the Grognard infantry and the heavy support and the command stuff, you can mix and match that with these riders to give them things like rifles and all sorts of different things if you want to. Maybe even make a mounted command element as well if you wanted to go down that route, which would be quite nice. So for anybody out there who is looking to build up alternative Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard style armies, or maybe you're just building something for one-page rules and Grimdark Future and anything in between, really. It's really nice to see this out there in the wild for people to have some fun with. There's even lots of different sort of gas mask variants in terms of their helmets and things as well, as you can see there too. So yeah, a really nice versatile kit. And it's good to see it out there in the wild now for people to play around with for their sci-fi games.
It's, well, like the standard setup, you get all the helmet variations plus gas mask versions of all the helmet variations as well. So whether you're going for your World War I look or your Napoleonic or your just ridiculous guard bearskin, you can go whatever ilk you want.
Do that. Yeah.
I think if you're going to go full on, I'd probably go for the full horse armor and the like. I mean,
if I was going to do like a 40k type thing to this, I'd probably cut the horns off, and then I'd probably green stuff like a bag on the front, and then put 2 cylinders on so they have the gas mask look.
Yeah.
Or you could just give them the old beaky gas mask, just one massive canister on the nose.
Oh yeah, you could do that too.
Then that way you wouldn't have to worry about messing around with too much on the sides. You just cover the nose up in one go with just a tube, a bit of styrene tube, and away you go. Plug the end, bam, done, dusted.
So you could keep your horns and have the tube.
You keep your horns and have the tube as well. It's not often you can say that.
Yeah, as well as being aligned with the plastic kits that are already out, you could obviously then fold in a lot of the stuff from Atlantic Digital anyway as well, if you wanted to play around with it even more. So yeah, very nice stuff.
Yeah, just give everybody an eagle. Get all your spare eagles from the support weapon / command sprue. And then just have them running about with those. Just let people know exactly who's coming for them.
Yeah. And then Sharp can create a nice collection of them. So, yeah.
Yes. Just have one grave with like dozens of them stuck in the top. Poor old Colonel Monroe. Yeah. Right. Enough of Sharpie. We can't be looking back at that. What have we got to look forward to?
Yeah. So a new full release of the new edition of Don't Look Back. From Black Site Studios is available for you to snap up from those folks now. We've talked about this game before. It's a really fun one. It's a fully cooperative survival horror miniatures game where you take on the role of survivors, unfortunates, heroes, victims, murder fodder, whichever way you want to take it. In a horror movie on the tabletop, played out on very, very small tables, like 2x2, 3x3, which I think is a really nice little touch. With lots of terrain and all sorts of different things. They've come back and kind of revised and revamped the mechanics a little bit more, but it's still very much the game that you will have played previously if you've dived into the game in its past iterations, which came out in 2020, I think it was first arrived. They've kind of updated things a little bit as well, so they've got in a full plot creation section. So again, there's lots of like random tables and all sorts of different things for you to build, which I think is quite nice. They've added in additional rules from expansions as well. So a lot of the separate sets have been folded into the one book for the new edition, which is always good, which obviously means that they've updated things in terms of FAQs and errata and that kind of thing as well. There's also rules in there for vehicles. So if you want to try and, make that escape by getting to the car and make sure you've got the keys and, escaping from the camp as the killer homes in on you, you've got that there too. And there's also rules add more characters to the mix you can. This then comes alongside 2 sets of new miniatures. So these are all resin in 32mm. So you've got the Core Heroes pack, which is the one you're seeing here, which represents 9 different characters. Most of them are characters from the first edition, although there's 2 additional ones as well, which have been added into the mix. Very nice miniatures from the folks at Black Site. They do some really good stuff. So good quality there. You also get all the stat cards and everything you need to play the game, which is good. alongside item decks and all sorts of different things there as well. And then this is really cool. So this is the Killers Pack, which is a modular set. So you get 2 bodies. So the 2 variants that you see there, but then all of the heads, weapons, accessories, and everything are separate. So you can make modular killers. So you can have a really nice suite of Hollywood killers to sort of hunt down your heroes on the tabletop, which I think is really nice.
Yeah. Interesting font choice there too.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what happens when somebody comes and kills you up.
Exactly.
I guess that's exactly what happens.
The thing that I think is really nice about this is that you could, if you are a fan of magnets, you could maybe magnetize all of the different accessories and heads, and then you could just swap them out between games so that you wouldn't have to play against the same villain all the time or buy multiple sets for this, which I think is quite a nice little touch. But yeah, if you're somebody who wants to play something a little bit different, I think Blacksite do some of the best kind of like weird alternative games out there. And they're becoming more and more readily available in different regions as well, which is always nice to see. So hopefully be able to pick this up and have some fun with it. Don't Look Back seems like a really good game to try out, especially if you're in the sort of mood to play an idea of like a cooperative style game on the tabletop. So yeah, go and check it out. Have some fun.
Here's hoping that somebody does distribution in the UK at some stage.
Would be nice. I'll also say their terrain alongside this is great.
That's the main killer, because you can get a book on miniatures. Shipping isn't too bad, but anytime anybody looks at any of the terrain, at that point you're shipping blocks of wood across the Atlantic, and it doesn't get particularly cheap at that stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what else or what other components are part of that killer set. Because they've done
knives
weird things,
and all sorts of different things,
balloons.
chainsaws, hooks, boat hooks, everything you want. Yeah, it's all based on those classic Hollywood villains, which is always nice.
It is. It's what we all come for at Christmas. Everybody wants to see kids being murdered in the forest.
Yeah, of course.
It's what Christmas is all about.
It's another festive treat.
Very much so. Right, we have one more bit of news. This time coming out of Firelock for Blood and Plunder.
So they have recently announced that they are releasing their first wave, effectively, of resin miniatures for you to pick up to use in your games. A lot of these are based on their 17th century stuff, but they sort of cross a gamut of different things as well. So these are going to be a new offering from Firelock that will sit alongside the metal range. So if you're somebody who likes the metal stuff, that's still going to be available. But what they're planning to do is release these resin miniatures alongside the metals, and effectively by the end of this you'll have 2 choices when it comes to the range. You'll either be able to get the resin ones, which will be slightly cheaper, or you'll be able to get the metal ones if that's your material of choice.
So it's the same sculpt?
Same sculpts. Yep. These are 3D printed resins, which you can probably tell by the designs here, but I think the detail...
The ones you actually buy are 3D printed?
Yes.
Well, we'll skip what's coming out. We can come back to that, and we'll answer this question right off the bat. So these are current metal versus 3D print. And as you can see, first of all, you don't have the shrinkage from the metal being cast. So there's always going to be a bit of shrinkage off the back of that. So these are truer to being the full-on masters. But this one I quite like, because they ordered some stuff and were given options. So they got one metal, one CO cast, because they started doing stuff in CO cast, and one of the new 3D prints for the Indians, just to see between all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So obviously most robust is the metal.
Yep.
Then you've got the CO cast, which is robust, but a bit more of a pain to clean, as anybody who's ever attempted to remove those mold lines will find out. It would require all the sharp scalpels, and then the most detailed, less cleaning, but the least robust is going to be the 3D print. So it really depends on how you manhandle your miniatures and where you sit on the painting front.
Now, I will say, Firelock have said that they are durable 3D prints. Obviously, they're not going to be as durable as metal.
No,
that's a given. You can't chuck those around the room.
No,
but I think the detail on them is great. From the production miniatures that they've shown off, which are these ones here, I think they're spot on. And in some cases, I think you've got more detail than some of the metal sculpts, which is always nice. So very cool.
And it has, actually, you might be able to see there. Your cleanup, obviously, is minimal. You're going to have some supports maybe aren't completely cleaned off, so you might need to give it a quick once over, but you've got flashing in that section there, or some of the other miniatures I've seen where they've been in positions to fire, so you might have both arms on a weapon, which means then you're going to have more not inappropriate, more flash in harder to reach areas, which means cleaning is a bit more of a trial if you don't have things like angled reamers and knives and files and stuff. So just being able to pick up a 3D print, it has its moments.
And they're still doing
on the cleanup side of things, it does help, because I always struggle to clean my metal models because they're so reflective. It's hard to see where the bits are that need cleaned.
You spray it and then you realize you've missed like 4 things.
Well, that's it. I do my first couple of passes and then I give it a quick prime and then I go back for final for whatever I've missed. But
this is why you get nothing done.
This is why I get nothing done. You're right. When I've had my 3rd grade of wire wool.
But what's been quite nice is that as part of this selection of stuff, a lot of their models that were done as part of their fire starters, which are kind of like their sort of
Judo
mini
chop.
pre-order collect. Exactly. They're fun little sort of pre-order things. They're all now available for you to pick up. I mean, they've been available for a while anyway, but you'll be able to get your hands on loads of stuff like the Marines and the Buccaneer Commander. But then what's been quite nice is that this is also shown off the first raft of their French stuff for Fire on the Frontier in resin as well.
How surprised does he look? You're actually shooting at me.
He didn't join the Navy to be shot at.
Exactly. So you've got the new miniature, the new character there for Pierre Lemonet d'Iberville, who can be one of your capable commanders. Let's drop it to the mix. Apparently he was very good at rousing the men.
Doesn't look it.
Yeah. He was too shocked at that. But then you've also got the La Marines unit as well, which I think is quite nice. These were the soldiers that were sort of part of the Navy, but kind of ended up fighting very much like their Native American or First Nations allies. So they're very good at sort of sneaking around in the woods and doing a little bit of skirmishing, as well as fighting in line and formation and stuff like you would expect in the European style. The right way to fight.
You could paint them up Santa style with those hats too.
You could do, yeah. Or Wee Willie Winky. Have it to the side of the do them as pajamas.
It's a nice marine mitre. The pair of you, shut up.
But yeah, some really nice miniatures there. Sort of showing off the new range of stuff that they've been working on for the French. As I say, Firelock have got plans to kind of expand this and make sure that all the new miniatures coming forward will come out in resin, which would be quite nice. And slowly over time, the metal range will get sort of multiple options for you to dive into and play around with it in resin as well, which I think is quite good. But if you are a metal fan, do not fear. They have said on Facebook to a lot of people's questions that the metal range is not going anywhere. So if you like it, you can still get it.
Can we have the 3D prints done in like a clear green resin? That sort of looks so we can have instant ghost crews.
Instant ghost pirates. Maybe if you ask nicely.
They're going to love that. Ask them a million times. We want ghost pirates.
I'm going to go Lemon say the answer to that one would be no.
No, like, it's a historical game.
Mike, we want ghost pirates.
To be fair, come Halloween, they do occasionally throw out things like ghost ships and ghost pirate rules for people to play. So maybe that's the foot in the door you need, Lloyd.
What you need to do is you need to make the suggestion to the South Park guys, and then when they show the game off on one of their shows, that will mean that Firelock will do
That's it. If we make that connection, that should happen.
That's the way to go. Right. That's enough news, I feel. And we shall have a quick swish and be right back with some 3D printing. Okay, and it's time for some 3D printing, Benjamin.
Jerry's favorite part of the show.
Let's go for a nap, shall I?
Yeah. This one's kind of Jerry adjacent. You like this guy.
Jerry adjacent.
Yeah. So this is Lost Heresy Miniatures,
Mm-hmm.
which is manned by Bill Thornhill, who Jerry informed me, and I was like, oh yeah, of course. Has done work in the past for a variety of different miniatures companies, worked for all sorts of different people. But this caught my eye fairly recently because part of the Silver Bayonet group on Facebook, and Bill had been showing off some of the amazing miniatures that he's been working on at the moment to drop into, I'm fairly sure, his own warband, his own unit.
It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. So I think Bill's been very much drawn in by the Silver Bayonet, has been sculpting away on some really awesome miniatures, as you can see here.
I do that.
There was the Austrian chap there. There's your vampire, your dampire there as well, which I think is quite cool. Really awesome sort of like action pose to him as well, which I think is quite nice. Love that, especially with the extra pistol stowed in the sash.
Yeah,
very, very nice.
He's fancy. Very fancy.
Yeah, Bill's been popping up on the Facebook groups,
stakes.
doing all sorts of different things. I love that. Yeah, the little bayonet stake strapped on at the end, really nice, and that kind of pose, like get back, kind of stuff. Really cool, sort of drawing on that action movie thing.
I just want to take one of the wooden doors from Shifting Lands and just put it against his hand. As he's shouting to women and kids to get out the window.
Yeah.
There's another monster diorama for you.
Or you could have hands bursting through the door behind him as Hans there are vampires running towards him as well, and he's like, either side. That is no escape.
There is.
Yeah, very nice stuff there too.
Escape.
Or you could have like Jeremy Corbyn. Is it Jeremy Corbyn who high-fived the boob?
Yes.
you could also do that. Yes. But yeah, it's been really nice seeing sort of Bill working away on these and showing off the progress on them.
Garlic.
There's loads more characters popping up basically sort of every couple of days on the Facebook groups and things like that. And I'm fairly sure these are going to end up going over to the My Mini Factory page at some point. Once Bill's got them printed for his own games, of course.
Yeah.
That he'll then do them as part of his tribes and things over there, I'm sure. But yeah. Look at that really cool veteran officer with the scars.
Shocking amount of stakes on these miniatures, strapped boots and all sorts. And then, to be fair, that's one of the other party members. So I would take that as a bit of an offense, really. If you've got a dampire in your group and everybody's wearing garlic and carrying stakes, that's a little bit risque.
Yeah.
But so it's Lost Heresy Miniatures then is his new little thingy thing.
Yeah. So done traditional stuff in the past, obviously. Working for different companies and things like that. But as you can see, also describes himself as an international man of mystery, but only on Wednesdays. But if you just scroll up a little bit and go to the store, Jerry, just open that up, you'll see the wealth of stuff that Bill has been working on. I'm fairly sure that Bill probably just goes, I'd quite like to create miniatures for X. And just goes ahead and creates them so that he has some miniatures to play in his games, which I think is a really nice way of doing things.
That looks a little bit like Oppenheimer.
Yes.
A little bit like Oppenheimer after he made the bomb.
Yeah. Will the cross stop the bomb?
Today I've become death, huh?
Yeah.
Or possibly today death has come for me. Like he's got his little tape recorder and microphone there as well.
Really nice. For recording all the spooky goings on.
It's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. But there's loads of stuff in here. A lot of it you might recognize from various properties. So there's lots of bits and pieces that have come from things like XCOM and other sci-fi shows like Star Trek and
Kill Tasha Yar with your tar monsters.
Exactly. Yeah.
That teacher.
R.I.P. Tasha Yar. But not really, because things timey-wimey. But yeah, loads of really cool. I love that. The Logicons. That's a nice little touch. That's very nice. Clearly, they're doing some boating down the river. They're not there to beat people up, obviously.
Yeah,
no. Why? But they are. There's one of your favorite models for 40k adjacent type things.
Yeah,
you're a big fan of the demon hosts creeping around, aren't you?
I love them. Yeah, very, very cool. If you're looking for something to drop into something inquisitorial, perhaps, very nice little option for you to try there.
You could model him with his head coming off.
You could actually, yeah.
just have some blood trails connect them.
Yeah.
Making a break
for him.
Make a tabletop version of Darktide
Yeah, yeah,
with a kill team.
yeah. That would be good.
It's not right. It's really not right.
Yeah,
Let's kill all
and,
that.
lots of different bits and pieces in there, as you can see.
There's an Inquisitor Blanche.
Yes.
Oh, John.
Based off a certain famous artist, perhaps. I really like, if you go back to there's a
I will in a
Saxon
minute.
King is nice. I like him. He's good. Yeah.
Because that's a
Looking for
massive
warlord.
figure.
Yeah.
You too can have a 120mm figure, or you can print out 32mm if you want to play games with like Saga, for example.
With foot on stump.
Full on stump. Not a rock, so it's all good.
Oh,
Nice change.
Yeah.
Changing it up.
Bill's Viking Berserkers for footsore were absolutely stonking. There was one of them living foot of rock, I think. Or foot of stump, rather.
I really like
Zoids!
the Zoids, yes, the aliens. You're sort of like slightly more classic grey almost, but again with kind of like XCOM vibe.
Do you know what they look like? They look like a grey has had a love child with the monkey creatures from Evolution.
Okay.
A little bit, yes.
Oh, if you just flock them, you'll have the monkey creatures from Evolution.
You would. That is a criminally underrated movie as well.
Is that the David Duchovny Evolution? That
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
I cannot remember monkey creatures in it at all.
Oh,
Remember
there
lots
is.
of Gribbly things and stuff.
That got turned into a cartoon TV show as well. It was really good.
Wow.
On kids' TV. Yeah. It was
Okay.
awesome.
Well, primates, put it that way. They're not so much monkeys.
If you say so, I still honestly I remember wasps and bugs and many limbed things. I cannot remember anything vaguely primate like.
Oh, they look just like it. I'll Discord it to you.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for that. Never mind
clearly
that.
Clearly a baby eater.
A
of
baby
course.
eater
Yes.
with his red hot poker sword.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can keep the preliminary sketches, Bill. Don't want to see any more of that.
Yeah.
Is
there's
that,
just-
is that a little Quato-like thing coming out of his belly as well? No, no, it's not. But it's not a million miles away.
If you're doing a Carnival of Chaos,
Yep.
perfect option there for something a little bit
I
more
love
timey.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
This
what happened to Zippy when he got beaten up.
Yeah. I mean, the Carnival of Chaos is a whole other realm of
Weird.
weird.
There you go. I've Discorded you. Now.
I'll have a look at some stage, I'm sure. How long has Bill been doing this? How long's Lost Heresy been kicking around?
I don't actually know.
Because I see the face page has only been going since November.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily been around for too long because compared to some of the other collections that are out there,
Open.
I mean, it's extensive. It's not massive, but it's fairly big. But I think there's still maybe in the early stages of this one. Really,
It's interesting because Bill lives in the States. Though he's from England originally, but he used to be a traditional sculptor. So I'm not sure when he moved into ZBrush because obviously he took a long gap where he decided to go off and do some photography and bits and pieces like that. But he used to live stream just his sculpting. So he'd be sitting there making Irish or Gales or whatever it happened to be for footsore. I'm just chatting away. And because I'd be coming home from a night shift, it was like Bill in the US and me, and that was it during the live chat.
Cool.
So he had to suffer me on a semi-regular basis, the poor fella. Just probably what drove him to going into photography for a while.
Probably.
But it's interesting that he's come back and isn't just going back into the sort of the old standard traditional sculpting and historical miniatures. He's leaning into all sorts
Spreading his wings.
clever new things.
How do you tell the difference between a Logicon and a Romulan?
Whether or not one gets angry when they're killing you. If they're blasé the entire time, that was a Logicon.
If one of them uses that data slate to beat you to death. Then.
Yeah. Alien insurrectionists. Who are they? Are they some sort of cultist types?
Gene stealer cultists, perhaps? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the big heads.
Big head.
Yeah.
And the strangely Soviet.
The Soviet gene stealer banner. That's genius. Why has nobody thought of that before now?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's our planet.
It's our planet. be thankful for it. They'd make very good, the modern Klingons from the terrible Star Trek films.
Oh,
But
yeah.
why would you want to make modern Klingons? That's the thing.
Because then you could have them taking over our planet.
They changed them back in the end, didn't they?
But they're
Did they?
modern Klingons.
Yeah.
Blah.
anyone that looks like he's dipped his head in melted Mars bar is a terrible
To be
Klingon.
fair, you,
Klingons have just got little Mongolian tashes and that's it.
to be fair, you wouldn't want the really OG Klingons either.
No, you would. They're great. Terrified of triples, but absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll have to jump down here and see some other things. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'll get
Hey,
an away team.
a human.
A human and an away team.
Wearing the outfit that all Starfleet crew wore at one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a frightening thought.
Yeah.
You two just...
They're awaiting red. That means
They're not
all
coming
dead.
back.
Yeah,
But this one with his coffee, I mean, he's obviously just decided I'm going to set in this mission and I'm not even going to bother
yeah.
because I'm not making it back to the ship. This human is saying, right, Captain, I want you to sign these orders saying, I'm not going on the away mission or I'll shoot you.
Yeah.
And that's why she's not part of that.
Exactly.
Or I've got a recording of what you said to me earlier.
Listen, Kirk, I get to go away from all the away missions. I stay on the ship at all times, or this gets leaked. It's the new Federation news.
Space HR.
Yep. These are cracker for
they're really
time
nice
as well.
Some of what's quite cool about a lot of the sci-fi style stuff is that it matches up really nicely to some of the statuesque designs.
Crab.
I think it's quite nice.
Crabs. We like crabs.
Knock it over and stab it for critical damage. Yeah.
Oh, there's things that look like Morlocks there too.
Yeah, there are. I've seen those. Just need the spinning rings to tell us what all went wrong. Giant mechanical crabs.
Why wouldn't you want one of those? Yeah.
Stick a bad guy in it. It'll be a giant enemy crab too.
Exactly.
Not to be confused with the beholder crab, which is just a crab with a giant eyeball.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? It is.
One big eyeball.
One big
Doing
eyeball
some
and unusual
under the
mouth.
sea.
Well, or even alien land.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You love it, really.
Make me itchy.
Cave cannibals.
Hey, Morlocks!
Have one with a witch.
You got to paint them up in retro colors, of course, as well.
Aren't they blue?
Blue with like white hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks not dissimilar to Boris Johnson.
If sort of a frost
spawn. Yeah.
Sort of a frostbitten Boris Johnson.
That's when he came out of the fridge. Yeah.
Oh, frostbite boy. There's an Andorian, rather.
Yeah.
So I love those.
Mm.
Look at that. That's classic. Great for 7 TV.
What happens if you stick your fingers in his things?
They
do they breathe out of those? Do they?
A HR incident is what happens.
They're I want to say they're like some form of thermal sensor. Gives them.
So you'd mess with their thermal dynamics. Yeah. The demon portal's cool as well. I really like that one.
Coming creeping out, creepy.
Yeah.
And then some classic old school bits and pieces as well.
I can't believe you skipped Krampus. And this is a Christmas episode.
It's too late for Krampus. There's no going back.
He's had his time.
He had his time. He tried his best and failed.
Yeah.
Unlucky Krampus. I'm just curious as to what else down there. Or you can even have your... See, that's really... Especially for 7 TV. Getting your hands on the relevant scenery.
Yeah.
Because...
oh my God. And then you can roll a D10 to see if you materialize properly or if you get split into 2. And there has to be a whole episode about both of you being the same person.
Oh, no. Or worse, you end up becoming Tuvik.
God.
The worst character ever.
Yeah.
Or you just get turned inside out.
Roll D20 on a 1. It's a mirror version of you comes back and starts causing problems.
Roll D20. Are you inside out? Yes. Roll D20. Do you explode? Yes.
Again, Galaxy Quest again. It's inside out. And now it's exploded.
And it exploded.
It was legitimately said, wasn't it, that the teleporters actually basically turned you into
They
made a new you, didn't
yeah.
They? Yeah.
Essentially, it's a replicator. They clone you somewhere else. Well, that's why they can bring up a backup one.
Quantum entanglement.
Yes,
that's why there's 2 Rikers kicking around in the galaxy.
They both sit on chairs weird still. So no, the other one sits on chairs normally.
I don't think anybody's been cloned more than Hugh Jackman, though.
Well, yes, very true.
It's Baron Harkonnen as an orc.
That's amazing.
Fetch me the floating fat man.
Yeah.
And it's proper Lynchian Harkonnen as well.
Yeah.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, I dread to think what the Beast Ravan looks like. Or even worse, Sting.
There he is.
In fact, we can find out. Because there they are.
Amazing.
Should always look up and to the right. He actually doesn't look any different from the actor that played and in that. And I see Bill's taking the higher ground there by not doing Sting in his winged codpiece. And for that, we can all be eternally grateful.
We are safe.
We are safe. My memory is not, but we are safe. That's interesting bunch of stuff.
The Olog High, based on the classic Angus McBride artwork as well, is really nice. Very cool for Middle Earth. Anyway,
sorry, I've just spotted. This is the reason Klingons fear tribbles. This is a triplet queen.
Yeah,
look at the size of that thing.
Oh, I've just remembered Retro Reagan as well. These would be perfect for that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Alongside and Starschlock.
Yeah. Starschlock too.
Look at all the tiny little triplets.
It's horrible. They look like ticks all over it. It's horrible.
Oh, that's probably what they are. Don't worry about it. Look at that.
No, they look like ticks all over him.
This is very similar to how haggis hunt. Anybody who's ever planning to visit Scotland.
Dangerous animals.
Now, he's safe enough because his trouser legs are tucked in there into his boots, because otherwise they just zip straight up your trouser and will attach, which is why the Scots invented the kilt. It was an easy access point in case of haggis attack. But yeah, they are absolutely cracking. I like that. It's a
really nice section of stuff.
Let me see the skeletons. Dark undead wood skeletons.
I could show you them.
Oh, these are right up my street.
No, there's no bat wings or anything.
Yeah,
skeletons.
No fucking bat wings.
That one's wearing a Sally helm though, so that's always good.
He's even got most of the spear still through him as well, which is good.
To YouTube translator, that was an Irish swear word. It's all good. You can leave that in.
Look, there's
branches of rootage.
Yeah,
you'd say it's growing up his leg as well. You can see it going.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah, you see it going.
Oh, yeah. Cool. It's right through him. Oh, yeah. It's all going a bit Evil Dead. We know how they died. That would explain why they're dark wood knights.
They looked a lot like the ones I was making and then gave up on.
Your mistake was not becoming a sculptor and just doing it yourself.
Yes.
That's obviously key in life. Yeah.
A really nice section of stuff there, both new and slightly old.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Yeah. Great to see Bill back and doing stuff again as well.
Very much so.
Yeah. Exciting times ahead for Lost Heresy miniatures. And presumably for people planning on playing Bill in Silver Bayonet as well.
Of course, yes.
So that's all good in the hood. Right. We have a couple of Kickstarters to round out the show /year.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we starting?
So we're starting with something very wee. This is the Little Soldier Company. Haha. And this is Let's Get Napoleon, which is their new Kickstarter campaign that is been put together just to basically fund the start of a bunch of Napoleonic miniatures that are going to be coming out. We looked at the Little Soldier Company not too long ago, actually, as part of an Indie of the Week, where we explored a lot of their different ranges, including their Gunderland range, which was their sort of slightly off-kilter Alice in Wonderland style adventure into fantasy and all sorts of weirdness. And these were originally going to be part of that range, but I think they're going to be developed into something a little bit different as well, which I think would be quite nice. So these were sculpted by Martin Buck not too long, well, actually quite a while ago, but now they've been brought back not too long ago as part of this collection to build up something fun and slightly weird, adjacent almost to the Napoleonic period. Now, whilst these might look like halflings, and we did sort of talk about that a little bit when we saw them in the in a news segment, I think, these are actually human size, as you can see. They're sort of 28 mil. They've just been made slightly more rotund and comical to kind of match up, I guess, with sort of like comic strips that you might have seen from the time and all that kind of thing. Which
sort of
quite
punch
nice.
And that sort of thing. You can see George, King George, extolling the virtue of his troops with a massive pot belly on him.
Exactly.
I think I was ahead of the curve earlier this year with my big-headed army.
Yep.
Maybe, yeah. So this is just the first of those sets that they've been working on, which would obviously be really nice if you were diving into something like the Alice in Gunderland range. Maybe you're doing something with alternative armies from Flint and that kind of stuff, and Flintlock and stuff. That'd be quite cool. I love the big blunderbuss style weapons. I think it's a really nice touch.
Is this backed? Is it funded?
It's funded.
Yeah, it was only a little campaign, 500 quid. So, and they're starting off with this little set, but they are going to be expanding it. I hear that Buck has already been working on a version of Napoleon himself, and I'm sure others are going to be coming down the line as well. So some Frenchies and maybe a Wellington and all sorts of different things. Maybe we'll see a fun kind of rotund sharp as well. That could be quite cool.
Well, I mean, those are wearing rifleman uniforms.
They are.
So it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about seeing a Harper-esque with whatever the equivalent of a seven-barreled knock gun is as a blunderbuss.
Just a massive blunderbuss.
It would just look like a bouquet of flowers.
Yes.
leveling whole regiments.
They should just load French cheese into their guns and fire that. I tasted some French cheese in a special cheese shop.
Oh.
In Paris.
Oh.
And my missus tasted it first, and she ran out of the shop in shock.
Oh.
And I thought, what are you at, you mental person, running out of there like that? And then I tasted it, and I also ran out of the shop and gagged. It was the worst cheese ever. They could just fire that at people.
Wow.
That's very harsh.
Excellent story. Thank you very much.
Going to stick to his cheddar and stuff.
He said French cheese. So it came to mind.
That poor cheesemongers in Paris. We're sorry, but
we are. He's not.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll once bitten, twice shy.
France just needs to be sorry about Paris in general. So
I'm telling you, you're underestimating. Go to France and they have cheese that tastes like a corpse's foot.
Wow.
I really like those cheeses.
I like a bit of stinking bishop. Yeah.
No, this is on another level.
Oh,
right. Let's not the charcuterie board then for young Lloyd for Christmas.
Moving into the realms of more Frenchy adjacent stuff, really, I guess. We have something also Napoleonic at the same time. So this is the Grand Duchy of Warsaw, which seems to be the mood of the moment, because obviously the Perrys are doing their own sets in plastic and metal. But this comes from Rafal Polkowski, who has been working through a collection of Duchy of Warsaw miniatures for you to use. The main thrust of this campaign is to create both the foot and horse-drawn artillery for you to be using alongside your various Polish and Austrian and Frenchy influenced parts of your army as you're fighting on the tabletop. But this sort of allows you to get all the different cannons that you'd need, all the different artillery that you need for the period. But in addition to that, you're also going to be able to get your hands on infantry and cavalry from previous campaigns as well. So you can start to build up your collections. Now, this is fairly extensive. I think that's probably an understatement.
It really is, yeah.
It's all 3D printable, so this is all STL files and stuff like that that you can pick up, which I think is quite cool. So it's one of those things that would be nice.
Is it 3D only, though, or are there any physical orders that you can place?
I can't remember, actually. I'll have to
I think it's 3D only.
I think it's only 3D, but yeah. It's a really nice section of good stuff. Clearly, a lot of research has gone into creating this, which is always good. You can obviously print them in various scales depending on what you want to do. They've been very much done to sort of like fit that kind of 28mm mold, but you can obviously go smaller or large depending on your, the way that you want to play the game, which is always nice to see.
If they're 3D, though, you could ambigulate them.
You could make them bigger if you wanted
to match in with the larger size of the 40K to make more of a, like that army that John you worked on in the studio.
Personians, yeah.
That's got a very Napoleonic look to it.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, really nice little selection of stuff there. For anyone who doesn't know about the Duchy of Warsaw and all that kind of stuff, it is a weird ass melting pot of things. It's Napoleon and his family trying to sort of stake their claim on parts of Europe, and there's dividing up of countries and all sorts of different things in between. It's one of those sort of rabbit holes of Napoleonic history that you go down and you're like, well, I'm lost now. That was a weekend gone. So I was looking at some stuff for this, and I was like, "There's
harsh.
French, and then there's Polish, and then there's what? And then these people had independence, and huh?" So yes, it's all very weird.
But they have nice uniforms.
They do have really nice uniforms.
They're very
Lovely greens.
swanky looking.
They're very Christmassy as well. You could see these being lovely nutcrackers on the shelf, couldn't you? So yeah,
It's all good in the hood.
but yeah, this as you can see, Jerry is only.
Here, what's the point of all the head options? Scroll back up.
Different regiment. If we scroll back up, you see how I'm
Two
not even a quarter of
seconds.
the way down.
1 second.
not
Scroll
see.
back up. Don't they all just look the same? What's the?
Have you
what's
not
the-
seen their facial expressions?
The faces.
Oh, I just couldn't see past their tashes.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so your line, your guard, horse limber.
Yep.
It's all there. Are there actually, because I haven't seen the horse limbers themselves, presumably they're in here as well, not just the actual pieces.
I think they've done them. As I say, I can't remember. There's so much stuff
Yeah.
on the page that I was like, I'm lost now.
These are the previous iterations, so
Yeah.
you can have a...
But you can get your line infantry and all sorts of different things in there, which I think is quite nice. They're doing stretch goals and all sorts of bits and pieces too. And you've got all your different officers as well. So,
Gee whiz.
yes, they do the limbers. I've scrolled down quite a way.
Oh,
and
they
are
quite
doing
a way
all
down
the
there.
limbers.
All right.
So, yes.
We may or may not see them before the end then.
Horrendously comprehensive.
Yes.
That's what you need, though.
This, alongside the likes of the stuff from Piano Wargames, is just a godsend for people who want to dive in and do 3D printing of Napoleonic stuff
For the rest of their lives.
for the rest of their lives. Yes.
But specifically, I suppose, a lot of people pick up the British, pick up the French, Prussian and
Yeah.
Russian, and they're well catered for.
Very
What's
much
the
so.
what's the max pledge to get it all?
I think... Yeah, I think we were at the max
those are
bid, because
mer-
after
yeah,
that we
those
were
are
merchants, so
$50.
about
$90.
90.
Oh,
yeah.
for like everything. Wow.
Well,
Oh, that's
for
the cavalry.
certain things, but they're all
No,
about 90.
like if we were going to buy all of it
I have no idea. $90 plus whatever
and
the
get
add-ons
John
are.
to print all of it, what do we need to buy?
And you,
There's our
John.
limbers. That's what we're after. Now we're cooking with gas. That's
Yeah.
what people are here to see.
Limbers.
Limbers and bogies. Sweet like candy.
I remember catching Justin. It's like, oh, do we get the limbers as well with that 25-pounder? He's like, oh, it'd be great if we had the ammo carrier. And I was like, the limber.
Speaking of which, there's your ammo car.
There you go.
Yeah. So I just want to point out that currently this makes 5 campaigns that are all based around the Grand Duchy of Warsaw from Rafal. So if you are in any way interested in diving into this period of Napoleonic warfare and this particular portion of the battlefield in Europe, this is a particularly extensive range.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It kind of feels like it's a hobby unto itself now
Yes.
at this point. It's like,
Why are we-
Yeah.
We're almost halfway down. You can see why I didn't want to go back up for 2 seconds to look at those tashes.
Napoleon Wars will be over by the time we get to the bottom.
Oh no, it won't even be finished like the 5th coalition at that stage. There's like another half dozen to go after.
Yeah.
It's nice that they've got the full gamut as well. I suppose between this campaign plus the previous 5, then so being able to pick up everything you need for specific actions.
Yeah,
is really nice. There's a huzzah. Everybody's favorite.
So I'm assuming if you back this, you don't really need to go and buy anything from anywhere else, really.
No.
Again, it depends what you're playing on what part, because in some cases that have been a small part of a much larger battle, so you may need to go and pick up some things for other nations. And in some cases there'd be battles where it was just specific ones fighting.
I mean, this is a fairly, if you look at the side where on the left hand side, this was Kickstarter 4, then Kickstarter 3, 2, 1. So all of these are ones that you can dive into and have a look at. I think by the time you're watching this, there's about 13 days left on the campaign.
Yeah.
So if you're in any way interested in any of Rafal's
cantering.
work, this is a.
How annoyed are you there, Ben? Not running horses, just cantering.
Yeah.
Slowly getting there.
Galloping
Just over
all the
halfway.
way. Yes.
John, you're right. We would need like about 6 other Johns.
Yeah.
Get ye to a teleporter, John. We need
I didn't know what I was talking about when I said print all this.
I take it back.
Gone on
that was
holiday
a-
by mistake.
That was a Warren knee-jerk decision. Let's print all of it. And then we kept scrolling and you went,
Carbides. There's the Uhlans. Yeah, this is a spectacular amount of stuff as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen Rafal's work before, but I can't remember where. I don't think we've looked at. I don't think we've looked at Kickstarter before.
The name and the logo didn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
But it might have popped up in some alongside something else, perhaps.
Well, that's true. Or alternatively, I was deep into something else on the internet and came across them that way as well.
Yeah.
Because these things often happen. They're more Hussars, but different Hussars this time from a different nation. Not as good Hussars.
Yeah.
Well, we leave people wanting more here.
Yeah. I think that's
It's still on Kickstarter 4.
almost at the next Hussar regiment. Right. Also funded. The
Yeah.
Grand Duchy of Warsaw.
Yeah.
And 13 days left on that one. 9 for Napoleon. If you want tubby little rifleman with tubby little blunderbussman
Yes.
is the way to go for that one. I think that wraps us up.
Oh,
for
no,
you.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You have to go to spin your duck before we go. Jerry's Christmas duck.
If anybody knows who that is and where it's from, you get to win the prize for this week. Put it in the comments below. That's niche. Right. We're going to go. We shall return on Sunday, Christmas Eve, to open some presents and talk about what we plan on doing in 2024. You can join us then. Otherwise, we will see you in 2024. So enjoy the rest of your year and eat plenty. Have a great week of gaming.
Merry Crimbo!
Happy New Year!
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.